received any?
Well, the problem with protective masks is everywhere right now. In the Czech Republic, we have the same problem as in Italy and other countries. I think it's the same situation because the demand is much higher than the supply, really. So we negotiate also with the producers of these protective masks to allocate all the capacities to our country, and maybe then we can support also Italy. But the problem is that we need to protect our healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, who take care of the patients. We already have 12 infected patients, and the number is growing. So we need to guarantee that our healthcare professionals will be 100% protected. So we'll discuss about the joint procurement, which was started by the European Commission 2 weeks ago. From my point of view, it should be speed up because the problem is that, like as I mentioned, every state, every country now faces the same problem. So we need the Commission to support us and finish the joint procurement procedure as soon as possible.
Do you think the EU's response has been slow?
Well, it's up to the member states right now. I think that the Commission or the EU tries to coordinate the mechanisms. We, of course, share information through ECDC, but maybe I would like the Commission to be more active and, for example, in this regard, with the joint procurement mechanism, I think really we should speed up the whole procedure because the lack of protective masks and all the protective equipments and or disinfection is the same is really concerning. So we should work on it.
Last question is, the Czech Republic was one of the only countries to ban flights to and from China. I'm curious now if you think that was the right call.
Well, I think it was because there was no transmission from China of this disease. Right now, we have banned also the flights from North Italy and South Korea because most of the Italians coming to Czech Republic come by flights. So that's was one of the measures we've done, and I think it was a good decision, and we're gonna assess the situation in the future because it's very dynamic. It changes every hour, every day, and if another measures needs to be done, then we will do it.
Thank you very much.
Just said you would like to step up in the board, but it depends on the member states. Do you see enough solidarity among the member states? Is Germany, for example, giving masks in Germany and not exporting them anymore? Isn't that a good thing to do?
Yeah, but on the other hand, it's the same in the Czech Republic. We don't have enough protective masks. So
that's not good for you if another country stops the export.
Yes, but we have also Czech producers of protective masks, and we also negotiated with them to allocate the production in the Czech Republic because we need to protect our healthcare workers, doctors, nurses who take care of infected patients. So,
but you say every member state does its own thing somehow. Isn't? I don't see a lot of solidarity amongst member states.
Yeah, but that's why the European Commission started the joint procurement mechanism. We also applied that we would like to be part of it and buy the protective masks together as member states. But so far there are no results. So we'll see. We'll discuss it today. But I think really we should speed up this process to supply our member states with protective equipment because they are very necessary.
Do you wish for more coordination? Because right now every state kind of has very different measures on when to close down schools or when not, whatever. Do you think there should be more coordination within Europe?
Maybe, but it's about risk assessment. The situation in each country is different, and we have our public health authorities. They are responsible for that, and they assess the risks. So right now in the Czech Republic we have 12 confirmed cases. We don't close schools, but of course, if we have more patients, if we have this, number of hundreds or thousands patients, then we will do the same as, for example, in Italy. But it's about the current situation. We assess the situation every day, every hour, and then do the measures.
Minister, the supply chain for medical drugs, we see that China has lots of substances we need to produce our medical drugs here, and we now see that there's sometimes a delay of they can't really deliver them. Do you think we should have more independence in making our own drugs again?
Definitely. I spoke about it at the last council that it's a problem, and it will be a problem. It will be a problem in the future because in China, as far as I know, a third of world production of drugs is located in China right now, and also in India, which, as far as I know, also stopped export of drugs just recently. So we depend on these countries, and definitely we should attract the production, the manufacturing of drugs back to the EU, because then we can control it. Otherwise, we depend on China, and as we see with this coronavirus epidemic, we should be, we can be threatened by this. So that's the discussion about the strategy of the European Union towards future. We cannot fix it now, but the European Commission should really work on the strategy for the future. I know that they have some strategy on a drug policy right now. They are working on it, but they should speed it up because it's really urgent.
Minister, do you mind just the fact that there is a lack of masks and a lack of material, it shows that the people are very scared. Do the people have the right to get very scared or not? And if not, why?
Well, in the Czech Republic also people are scared. I try to calm them down, of course, because there's no need to panic. But on the other hand, I understand that if they see the media and news from China and other countries, of course, it makes them, feel that they are somehow threatened by the disease. We try right now to supply the healthcare workers in the Czech Republic by protective masks. I think they are the first in the first line. They are in touch with the patients, so they need to be protected. And for the rest of the citizens, we also try to negotiate with the producers to supply our market. But on the other hand, the production right now is limited. The demand is much higher than the supply worldwide. So it's not easy, and we should talk about it also at the European level. I spoke about the joint procurement mechanism, so we will see about the discussion today.
Belgium did not take any measures so far, a real measure to fight against corona. Does it make sense then the other to take some measure, and one of the country doesn't take any measure, so does it make sense for the other?
I don't know much about the measures in Belgium. I know the measures in the Czech Republic. Well, I think all the countries should take into account that it is serious. What we see, for example, in Italy, in North Italy, it looks like that it's pretty serious. So I think all countries all in the world should bear in mind that this might be a risk and this might threaten the public health of their citizens. So we should be very active and try to take the measures to eliminate the threat we face.
Last question, if you allow me. Do you follow what is happening in the South Mediterranean? You're very close neighbor. Do you think we are taking the right measure to protect also the European side?
You mean Italy?
I mean, no, more south, the Mediterranean, the Arabian Mediterranean, Egypt, Libya, Tunisia.
I don't know much in detail about the situation in these countries, so I cannot comment it. But as I say, like for example, yesterday Dr. Tedros announced that all the countries should be active, all the countries should take measures, that it is quite serious, the situation, and he urged all the countries to really do as much as possible. So it's for all the countries the same, and the threat is the same for the world. So I'm Minister of Health of the Czech Republic, so I take care of our citizens. Thank you.